There is a deadly plague sweeping over Great Britain. This cancerous plague threatens everything: our nation, our culture, our values, and everything we hold dear. If it is not stopped, we might lose our homeland forever. This terrible disease is bigotry. That is why, as proud citizens of Great Britain, we must all keep a stiff upper lip and do our part to avoid bigotry, racism, and Islamophobia. Here are just a few helpful tips to help you avoid the stain of bigotry whilst you're being raped, stabbed, or blown up by Pakistani migrants. When an Islamic migrant approaches you and begins repeatedly thrusting a knife into your torso or face area, remember this: white British citizens sometimes stab people too, and you should be ashamed of yourself for thinking people stabbing is a Muslim thing. While the attacker stabs you, close your eyes and try to picture him as a white male. This simple meditation will help your bias melt away like clotted cream on a toasty, crumpeted tea time. Cheers, old boy. You've done it. If you are a woman, always remember to wear modest clothing. Ideally, clothing should cover your legs, your ankle, your face, your eyes, and everything else. Take a look at Elizabeth here. Now that's an attractive and safe look for England's streets. Failing to wear the proper attire could lead to men of undetermined religion and national origin succumbing to their baser instincts, making you a target. So, do the right thing for England and cover up. That a girl, Elizabeth. Avoid regressive and offensive British terms such as cheerio, codswallop, or throw a wobbly. Instead, use more inclusive terms such as Allahu Akbar or Allahu or Death to Israel. This makes British Muslims feel welcome. If you've done all these things and still have feelings of bigotry, simply submit to the Holy Quran and acknowledge Muhammad as the one true prophet of Allah. Then, follow all the tenets of Islam, pray 5 times per day facing Mecca, and maybe even stab another British person while shouting Allahu Akbar. Congratulations! You have completely rid yourself of the stain of bigotry. And as the evil dictator Winston Churchill once said, keep calm and carry on.
Good morning, Patriots. How are you doing today? This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live from the downtown metropolis of Lamont, Missouri. I hope you guys are having a great day wherever it is you are at. I'm broadcasting live on multiple platforms today, as it is on Friday. We are on Rumble and X every day, 5:30 on the East Coast. I guess maybe it is. I mean, the West Coast. What are the coast? The left coast. Yes, that's it. No, 8:30 every morning. I come to you live on Rumble and X. Just search Patriot Mike Show. You'll find it. But on Fridays, to remind everybody that I'm the rest of the week, I go on my Facebook channels and I go on my YouTube channels, and for as long as they'll let me go. Let's see if I get kicked off today. Oh, it is what it is. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, isn't it? You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. And the word of the day, as given by Marine in the Woods, or as presented by Marine in the Woods, given by the Lord, is Romans 1:18 through 28. That's Romans 1:18 through 28. Easy for me to say. Make sure you crack open the Bible, see what God has for you today, because God is absolutely good all the time. That's just the way that it is. If you don't like it, well, go somewhere else. It's that simple. There's other countries in the world that will allow you to practice their religion and no other religion. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day. Y'all see what's going on? Today is October 31st. Everybody, all the little munchkins will be out trying to get their, practicing their religion of socialism. What do you mean by that? trick or treat. In other words, if you don't give me something, I'm going to do something to you. It's called blackmail. Socialism. Part of the reason why. Hey, do you guys like, I don't know if it's on this side or on this side or this side, this side. I don't know. Whatever side it's on for you. Because, you know, the QR code is, I don't know. When I point at the QR code on my screen, it's actually not pointing at your screen because it's over there on your, I don't know. Anyways, somewhere on there, there's the chat room. Do you see the chat room? It should be right under the QR code. They're allowing me. What do you think of it? Do you like that? Or do you want me to take it down? Let's have a poll. Who wants me to keep the little chat box there up? The stage left, but it's not my left, it's my right. So even on the stage. So there's a little chat box there. Let's see. I'll do the weatherman thing. See, but there's about a 10-second pause from when I hold my hand up to when it goes over. In fact, it's longer than 10 seconds. I'm watching the screen down below me. It's a lot longer than 10 seconds to get that over there. Candy corn supplement their food for a week. Candy can supplement. I still don't. Okay, I guess it's on the other side. I'm holding my hand up here, and it's on the other side. So it's really here is where you see the chat room. It's weird the way it is. I've literally put it over here, but when it flips it, I don't know. Technology is wonderful, isn't it? All right. So let's get started with the show. Got some good stuff. Did y'all see this? It's already starting to happen. Okay to leave it up. A lot of people are saying leave it up, so that's cool. We'll leave it up. See what happens. So they're already. I didn't learn a new trick. They just allowed me finally to do it. It just happened. Yeah, it's the same side as the QR code, but what side is that? All right, so it's too small for me to read. I can make it bigger. I can make it a little bigger like that. I can make it wider. I can make it taller. I can do so. I kind of like the medium the best because I don't think it's so intrusive. So that's why I rest on that. What do y'all think? But all right, here we go. It's getting started already. The riots are already begun to happen in the grocery store food line as the takers start to take.
Jeff Cuddy had no idea what he was walking into.
I hear someone go there.
Sorry. Come on now.
Fighting
At Market Basket in West Bridgewater.
That's why I had my cell phone on me because I put my grocery list on there, obviously. I look over and they're fighting like crazy.
Police say Olivia Bird and Regine Bird were approached by an employee because they didn't pay for several items, including lobster meat, prime ribeye steaks, and truffle butter. The encounter escalated, and police say the two women assaulted two employees.
She cracked him hard with that cell phone right in the face, and the guy was real respectful and responsible, and he just let it go.
The women were located in the parking lot by police and placed under arrest. According to court documents, the women said they were filling an Instacart order, but it was canceled, but police say they could not provide any documentation of that. The women then told police an employee put the items in the cart.
You don't act like that, especially in the grocery store. There's older ladies in there, there's children in there, the ladies using the F word, the N word, using all kinds of words that don't even belong in vocabulary.
Cuddy is relieved nobody was hurt, and he still cannot believe something like this happened at the basket.
But I was thinking maybe where the Patriots just kicked the Browns' butt, maybe inside it was a couple of fans fighting each other over the game, not people acting like this.
You know, when I saw this, by the way, everybody's saying put it on the other side. I can't put it on the other side. It doesn't give me the option. I was fiddling with it just a minute ago, just see if it would, but it won't. So this is where it's going to be, right over there, wherever it is, whether you like it or not. So that's it. That's all you get. That's all you get. That's all there be. All right. So this reminds me of something. You know, you remember way back when, during the great toilet paper run, right at the beginning, they started sharing these videos about how they were rioting because the toilet paper. This is from Sky News. Most of the toilet paper fighting was in Australia, but CNN was sharing it like it was here. And the reason that they were saying that the toilet paper was running out, nobody was going to get any more toilet paper, is because the little tubes that are inside the toilet paper, they were made in China. And at that time, they were shutting down all imports from China because of the Rona. And so people started freaking out. The problem is that all toilet paper in the United States is made domestically, and the tubes are made domestically. I mean, anybody that lives in the Northwest or the Southeast knows what I'm talking about. The tree farms that make the pulp, that make the paper. But they still played it to get to prime the pump. Well, here we are on the 31st, and what do they got? They got the video of the people fighting over trying to shoplift food to prime the pump. Remember this?
Meanwhile, the panic of purchasing toilet paper has reached a new low.
Hey, stop! That's enough!
Video has emerged of an alarming scene in a Sydney supermarket of two women coming to blows in an argument over the right to buy multiple packets of toilet tissue. As the brawl threatened to escalate, the store manager stepped in to try to restore law and order.
I just want one pack. No, not one pack.
What's the limit? At the moment, it's right.
Guys, I need everyone to back off right now.
Stop.
No.
Do you remember all that? Because I
just think we remember that.
Got to make sure this doesn't.
Meanwhile, the panic of purchasing toilet paper
as it restarts. Okay, here we go. We get the echo off. All right, so the panic of purchasing toilet paper. That was in January of 2020, just as this thing started kicking off. And everybody went out and started freaking out over the toilet paper everywhere when buying up all the toilet paper that wasn't necessary. Do you know that you can use other things like, I don't know, a wet washcloth, and then you can wash it? Anyways, so there's a pattern, as someone says, I know it's a common pattern, of the timing of this. Because what happens tomorrow? All of the people laying sideways in the public trough, lapping the water, will not have any more water to lap in, and they'll have to get up and go figure out how to make a few bucks to feed their family. Well, they're going to panic, they're going to freak out, and it's going to be, they could use baby wipes, but they bought up all the baby wipes at the time too. I mean, there's more ways. There's more ways than one. But are you saying in 6 months it'll be dollar bills? There'll be plenty of dollar bills, my friend. Plenty of them. They'll be everywhere. Probably in the streets like they did with the Venezuela currency, but it'll be everywhere. Plenty of them. They won't be any good. You won't be able to do anything with them. But they'll be everywhere. Not a problem. You guess you could use a corn cob. I'd rather use a wet cloth and then a corn cob, but that's just me. You know, some people are into whatever they're into. Here's some interesting. Speaking of the money, so gold prices, it's up today. It's up 19 today at 4,035. Silver's up, well, down, up, down. Who knows? 48.50. That would require critical problem-solving skills, Mike. I know. We just got to react to how the government and the media tells us to react. And if you don't react properly, it means you hate people and you want them to die. Now get your vaccination. I'm trying to get kicked off of YouTube. Anyways, so the gold prices are up and down right now. But they're still hovering right around 4,000. But what happened yesterday was quite an interesting deal. $41.5 billion worth of gold purchases overnight. It says, good luck, LBMA. Get ready to get wrecked. My friend who has a lot of contracts with central bankers or contacts with central bankers just told me that Gulf Corporation countries, Saudi, UAE, Kuwait, just bought another 33.5 billion of gold this morning. And the Bank of Korea just bought 8 billion. He used to deal in U.S. treasuries for these guys. We talked about the reason for that. They're hedging. But what they're doing right now is called buying the dip. The prices went down. It's probably near where they suspect the bottom to be, so they're buying. And that's, that's what you should do. Here's another one. LBMA is forecasting nice bump for gold next year. It says the price of gold is expected to go to $49.80 a troy ounce over the next 12 months. That's pretty specific. Up some 27% of current levels. Delegates in London Bullion Market Association, LBMA, annual gathering in Kyoto predicted on Tuesday. On track for the biggest yearly rise since 1979, gold 52% growth so far this year has seen it break through 3,000 per troy ounce in March and 4,000 in October, both seen as psychological resistance levels by market players. In other words, when it breaches this level, when it breached 3,000, because it would just be right under and it would go down, just right under, it would go down, just right. That's where people were margining in. Okay, I need to sell a little. When it gets to $29.95, I need to sell a little. But then it busted over 3,000. They moved it to 4. So what they're saying is the same thing was happening at 4. Every time it goes over 4, they sell. The problem is it's going to go shooting up over that. They're saying 4,900 by the end of the year. We'll see. Or by the end of 2020 or the next 12 months. So by this time next year. Now, they're at Goldman Sachs is saying 5,000 by the end of the year. I don't know. Got one more here. It says gold up. A group of 7 nations are set to announce critical mineral production alliance. Huge. The thesis is playing out. You can't print minerals. The Western world is now paying attention. So what we can't print minerals. You can print dollars, but you can't print gold. You can't print silver. You can't print palladium. You can't print platinum. You can't print cobalt. All the stuff needed to produce modern societies, you can't print it. You have to mine it. And that's what they're talking about because demand's way up for that stuff. Speaking of demand's way up, I got Nancy Pelosi. She did an interview right after she drank the 5th. I pled the but after she had a cocktail or two, she decided to sit down at Harvard Kennedy School of Politics to answer questions from the common people. Here, let's watch some of it because it's entertaining.
And I again disagree on because I see the Democrats every day. You saw a march that was not political. And the value of it was that it wasn't political. No King's Day. It was spontaneous, organic, but everybody was there. And that's what's important is what are the people thinking? What are they hopeful about? What are they willing to get out the vote for? Right now, I came here departing from our campaign in California.
So the No Kings protest is nothing but organic, base level. Nobody, you got Barack Obama and Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and AOC and the rest of them promoting it. By the way, there's more No Kings coming. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but they are planning on, I think I played the video yesterday. They're planning on having, that's the wrong king. That's the king stripping Prince Andrew all of a sudden. Now, that's another story. Let's just start there. We'll go to the No Kings here in a second, but let's start with this one. Prince Andrew, the king, that's him right there. King Charles strips Andrew of titles and announces eviction from Royal Lodge. How did that happen? How come, this guy's been a pervert all along, but now all of a sudden they want to strip him and chase him off? Why is that? Well, because all that stuff is about to happen. All that Epstein stuff, that one gal's book is out. All that stuff's about to happen. And the king's like, nope, I don't know you. I don't know you at all. Look at this. This is kind of cool. This is a nifty little can. You know that I told you about Nitro? This is Nitro Plus, limited edition. Comes in a can. Tastes like grape. All day energy and then some in a little can. I had to sneak this one because my wife's been drinking them all. It's good stuff. Very good stuff. Anyways, check this out. The No Kings deal's happening again. It says, surround the White House. Far left group refuse fascism, plans to siege of DC government buildings. On the National Mall, blah, blah, blah. It says a coalition of far left activist groups planning an insurrection in Washington, D.C. on November 5th, calling for millions of Americans to surround the federal building. Now, there won't be millions, but they'll bus in thousands. Watch the bus. The buses are already rented and paid for, and the paid protesters are already lined up to be there. And besides, there'll be a lot of people they'll come for food. So millions of Americans will surround federal buildings and refuse to disperse until President Trump is removed from power. The primary organizer, Refuse Fascism, is openly urging supporters to besiege the White House and the U.S. Capitol and the Supreme Court in what critics describe as an attempted insurrection. Surround the White House, surround the Capitol, surround illegitimate fascist-packed Supreme Court, really? The group wrote in its website declaring that waiting for future and rigged elections is no longer acceptable. November 5th marks the anniversary of Trump's election victory. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They're about to have an insurrection
into inciting an insurrection, which he did.
They said he participated in an erection, and I have to, an insurrection, sorry.
If they believe Donald John Trump incited the erection.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection, and maybe that too.
Who has been impeached for inciting the erection, inciting the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. We understand that the former
insurrection, and I have to say, I got up at 5 this morning to do Casey Hunt's show, and I'm exhausted. So,
yeah, you can talk about that too, I guess.
Maybe we should talk about that too. The president incited an insurrection. Maybe we should talk about the fact that the former president was.
Let's get it on. Oh, it says that the organization claims that the United States is already under fascist rule. They keep saying that word. I just don't. I need one of these people to tell me what fascism means. And insists that the unrelenting pressure can grind the machinery of fascist regime to a halt.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Participants are encouraged to repeatedly return to by the way, Facebook's going to tell me they've demonetized my show because of those two clips. But that's okay. Hey, Facebook and YouTube, 60 seconds, fair use. Both of those are under 60 seconds. One was only 6 seconds, but that's okay. It's all good. Participants are encouraged to repeatedly return to DC, refuse compliance with authorities, shut down institutions, and continue. I thought everything was already shut down. Oh, there is that detail. And continue until Trump is forcibly removed from office. Throughout its lengthy statement, Refuse Fascism accuses the Trump administration of committing genocide. Where? Abolishing democratic rights. They keep using that word too, and I don't think they know what it means. You know, there's video on my Telegram page of piles of bodies in Sudan of Christians slaughtered by Muslims. You know, everybody goes, oh, well, the Muslims are the nation of peace. Yeah, they are, and they'll kill you to prove it. Now, you got to understand, the piles of bodies is a standard tradition of Islam. When, you know, the churches, when all the Jew haters are screaming, and I had a pin mark on my face. I wouldn't be surprised. My hand waving around, shoop, right across my face would be funny. All the Jew haters are screaming about the synagogue of Satan, when in Revelation where the author gives a message from God to the 7 churches, that all those churches existed at one time in Turkey, but they no longer exist there anymore. You know why? Because the Muslim hordes went in and slaughtered them. There is stories about how the Muslims would come in to that part of the world, to all the way from Turkey all the way down into Israel, all the way into Egypt, Tunisia, all the way to Monaco, all the way up into Spain. And when they came in, the bodies of the dead Christians would stack up. Actually, it wasn't the bodies, the heads. They would stack the heads in a pile that was as high as the seat on a horse, and the blood would flow as rivers. Yeah, they don't tell you about that, do they? They always miss that one. Because that's what real genocide looks like. What's going on right now in Africa is real genocide. What the Muslims in Turkey were doing to the Christians in Armenia in the last year, that's what real genocide looks like. Donald Trump's committing genocide. Donald Trump's a fascist regime. What is fascism? If you ask one of these people what fascism is and what democracy is, their democracy is fascism, and their fascism is capitalism. It's weird how they do that. Speaking of, did y'all see this one? Here's some interesting news. Breaking: the Justice Department launches an investigation into whether Black Lives Matter's leaders defrauded donors. Well, they did. The Justice Department has launched an investigation into whether Black Lives Matter's leaders defrauded donors of tens of millions of dollars. The Black Lives Matter's Global Network Foundation raised $90 million in 2020 during and after the George Floyd riots. They also raised more than $75 million in 2021. The donations to the Black Lives Matter's Global Network Foundation have significantly dwindled in recent years because the majority of the public no longer supports Black Lives Matters. We support Black lives like we support all lives. We just don't support BLM, the Black Liberation Movement. The two ladies that took over Black Lives Matters, who came from South Africa, they declared themselves witches. They said they were witches and trained Marxists. They were BLM in South Africa, They were BLM in the United States of America. They just changed the words so that you wouldn't realize what they were talking about. It says the donation significantly dwindled. I read that. The Associated Press reported that DOJ prosecutors have already issued subpoena and at least one search warrant. No other details about the investigation were released. Fox News also reported that prosecutors are investigating BLM leaders. AP reported the Justice Department is investigating whether leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement defrauded donors who contributed tens of millions of dollars during racial justice protests in 2020, according to multiple people familiar with the matter. In recent weeks, federal law enforcement officials have issued subpoenas and at least one search warrant as part of the investigation in the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated and other Black-led organizations and other Black-led organizations that help spark national reckoning on systematic racism, said the people. There is plenty of racism in the United States of America. Most of the racists are Black. Yeah, I said it. Who were not authorized to discuss an ongoing criminal probe by name and spoke on the condition of anonymity to the Associated Press. It is not clear. You got to understand, when you see this, spoke on, anytime you see this from anywhere in the media, you've got one of two things that's happening here. One, somebody is leaking information in order to hurt the target. In other words, say some information leaks about Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel having an argument. That's been in the news lately. Under the condition of anonymity, somebody says, oh, they're mad at each other. When in truth, it's all made up. And it's intended to hurt Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel. The other thing, and this is what the Democrats do all the time, and the Republicans do it too, and Donald Trump's team does it too, is it is an intentional leak, which is what James Comey is being charged with, is lying about leaking classified information intentionally. You see, as one of the things that they did is they classified all the evidence against Donald Trump so nobody could see it, and then leaked out selectively that which they wanted to leak out, the Russia stuff. Well, you classified that. You can't leak that out, but they did selectively under the condition of anonymity. So those are the two times that you do it. So what I'm saying is that this information was leaked out from the DOJ, from the FBI, from the Trump administration somewhere, intentionally to get it into the media. Let me get back to the story. It's not clear if the investigation would result in criminal charges, but the mere existence invites fresh scrutiny into a movement that in recent years has faced criticism about its public accounting of donations they had received. Like buying a whole bunch of houses. Yeah, I talked about it yesterday, Wrangler. He says, hey, Mike, did you see where the woman got arrested for her protest in front of yeah, I talked about it yesterday. See, where was I? Before I got so rudely interrupted. I'm kidding. The recent burst of investigation activity is also unfolding at a time when civil rights, sometimes I make myself laugh, civil rights groups have raised concerns about the potential for the Trump administration to target a broad variety of progressive and left-wing groups that have been critical of him, including those affiliated with Black Lives Matter, the transgendered rights movement, and anti-ICE protesters. Oh, nice way to leave out the ones funded by George Soros and the USAID. Oh, yeah. It's not just that they're critical of him. It's that, unlike Nancy Pelosi, it's just ordinary people. It's just, coming from the bottom. We have nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. They just paid. Act Blue gave just a tiny, significant $100 million or so. That's not the big deal. You gotta love it. This is so. And see, the thing is, Donald Trump. Everybody's going, Donald Trump hasn't done anything. They haven't arrested anybody. Well, see, they're going after the Russia people. They've got grand juries in like 4 different states. That's all right, man. I'm just messing with you. They've got now they're investigating all of the George Soros stuff into Antifa. Now they're investigating Black Lives Matters. You see what's going on here. They're not doing anything. Donald Trump has cut off the Democrats. Their supply chain of money, their ability to raise up ne'er-do-wells, their ability to control the media. You see what's happening over at CBS? They fired everybody. Cleaned house. They lost X. A Republican strategist just bought Dominion. Yeah, the voting systems. Donald Trump is systematically taking down their infrastructure. He's not doing anything, blah, blah, blah. The other thing that he's doing is he's exposing. We'll get back to Nancy Pelosi in a minute, but he's exposing the shills, the sellouts. 90% of the Republican Party is on the take, and he's exposing them, and they're coming out. Breaking: Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene will appear on The View next Tuesday. Watch that show as The View takes it easy on Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Marjorie Taylor Greene goes after Trump indirectly. You see, when you become the maverick, Mr. No Name, it's very, very, very profitable. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to run for president. Marjorie Taylor Greene, once the darling of the megas, is now turning and joining in with the Candace Owens and the Tucker Carlsons and the Thomas Masseys because she wants to run for president. Because she never really was. I can remember somebody sending me a message. If that was you, if you're on here, say, hey, that was me. 3 or 4 years ago, when she first got into the House, this person lived in her district in Georgia and knew her and said she is not who she says she is. And here we are. They're all coming out of the woodwork. All assets are deployed. All assets are deployed. And they're coming out. They're coming out of the woodwork. I was going to go to something, and now I forget what it was. Did I have another story on that? What was I going to share? I don't remember. I don't remember what I was going to talk about. Oh, well, it's okay. We'll get to it. I'll find it. I'll bring it up again then. It's all right. So Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not saying Didi. Okay, here's a comment right here. I listen to what I'm saying very closely. Oh, Mike, you're saying the same thing the left is saying. If you talk to the other side, you must be a traitor. No. I'm not calling her a traitor. I'm calling her a sellout. There's a big difference. Or that she was never part to begin with. You see, Thomas Massey didn't give a damn about Epstein until maybe it would hurt Trump. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has aligned herself with Thomas Massie. Marjorie Taylor Greene has aligned herself with Candace Owens. Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing things to hurt Donald Trump politically, intentionally, trying to cause a division within the MAGA, because the MAGA is a juggernaut, and they're trying to divide it and break it down. This is what the Republican parties, understand, let me say this slowly so that you understand it. 90% of the Republican Party is corrupt and on the other side. It is left wing, right wing, same bird going the same way. Marjorie Taylor Greene has just shown that she's part of the bird. There's very, very few. You know, Lindsey Graham has said some really red meat conservative Republican stuff here lately. Why? I mean, like, okay, I agree with you, Lindsey. Why is he doing that? Anybody know why Lindsey Graham all of a sudden sounds more MAGA than Donald Trump? Let me think. What could be coming up that Lindsey Graham needs to sound like he's MAGA Republican? Anybody take a guess what it could be that would make Lindsey Graham all of a sudden wrap himself in the MAGA flag? It's the same thing that's causing Marjorie Taylor Greene to go the other way to get a broader audience, knowing that most people have the blinders on and are not paying attention to what's really going on. She's trying to gather more people into her tent to run for higher office. Well, Lindsey Graham has to get reelected, and he's going to have opposition on the right, and he wants to make sure Donald Trump doesn't put a bunch of money against him. It's all politics. Well, I get what you're saying, Dee, and I that's fine. That's a good idea. You should do that. Maybe I'm wrong. However, she's already said a bunch. You know, she's on the side. She's turned against the Jews because that is the political right thing to do right now. Oops. People are getting, I guarantee you, I should try it. I should try it for I can't do it. I can't do it because I don't do this for me. I do this for God. God has called me to this, and this is what I do, and I can't do it, but I should. I should try. I should see what happens. I should come out against the Jews. I should come out and say the Jews are the evil of the world, and they need to be dealt with. You know, a final solution or something. And I should come out and say that none of the Jews in Israel are real Jews. They're just pretend Jews from the Kyrgyzstan or someplace. And that we've all measured their nose and the side of their cranium, and they definitely have a different smell. Because if I did that, watch my numbers go up. Watch my audience go up. And I'm not saying that there's a grand conspiracy cabal of human beings that would promote me all of a sudden. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's a spiritual thing. You know, like Candace Owens. What Candace Owens? It was definitely not the shooter. The guy that they say did it didn't do it. He's the only one, though. Because it was the Jews, it was Donald Trump, it was a grand conspiracy of Republicans, and now it's the Egyptians.
I can now report to you that it is a fact that on 9/4, there were, this was not some dropping by in Utah as they were trying to claim because the plane needed to be serviced. That's what they ran with. They ran with, this could have been a routine servicing. I guess there's just no place from Egypt all the way to Utah that an Egyptian military plane can like get a tire changed. This is totally routine. Nothing to see here. Well, I'm telling you that for a fact, that plane was carrying military subcontractors. And for a fact, they were dropped off in Provo. okay? And that they did not make it back to Cairo. I showed you the plane left. They left on September 10th. It then laid over in Wilmington, Delaware, and departed back for Cairo on the 11th. I am telling you that when that plane left, okay, those people were mysteriously missing from that plane, okay? What's going on here? Why are Egyptian military subcontractors, what are Egyptian military subcontractors doing in the middle of Provo, Utah on the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Okay. Again, I am saying as a fact, Kash Patel, please feel free to dispute
training.
this. In fact, I almost demand that you dispute it. I think you must. You've been saying everybody's conspiracy theorists. Conspiracies are dangerous. Thinking is dangerous. That aircraft was not in Utah for any routine servicing, okay? Rather extraordinarily, this person told me that it was there on some discreet mission. So discreet that this individual was scared for their life to present this information, but felt compelled to present it because they too were horrified, like the rest of the world. Again, the mistake that was made here was executing him publicly. People felt something, right? They felt something. They understood that whatever happened here was a tremendous act of evil. And so what it led to was goodness, more people standing up and doing something brave and saying, we need to root out this evil from our society. What were they doing there? When did they leave? Who are these individuals? I don't understand. Kash Patel, tell us about this flight. Tell us who was on it, okay?
Unnamed sources, anonymous sources, but it's a fact, a fact. Let me tell you a fact. Here's a fact. Wait, oh my gosh. My tinfoil hat blew onto the ground when I turned on the fan. Doggone it, I can't reach it. Here's a fact. There's high-speed training facilities right outside of Provo, Utah. What do you mean? What are we talking about? Marine knows what I'm talking about. It's where contractors and people who have the money go to train to learn how to properly use a pew-pew. So it's a fact that if there was factual high-speed dudes on that plane, they might have been out there doing high-speed things, running around in the woods. Well, actually, not very many woods. Running around in the desert, going, got you covered, buddy. Move out. Or something. Now, what I just said is a fact. Does it have anything to do with that plane? I have no earthly idea. And neither does Candace Owens. No, she's just out stirring the bucket, trying to cause contention in the mega party and trying to discredit Charlie Kirk and his organization. She is an infiltrator, not just a traitor. She was put there on purpose for such a time as this, to cause confusion and dissent and to take out an organization that is massive in spreading not just conservative politics, but the gospel of Christ. They want you to not trust Erica. They want you to not trust anything that goes on over there. And everything she says, she has zero facts. She could not present in court anything that she has. Any of it is non-presentable in court. And then there's people regurgitating what she's saying. I used to live in Provo. Where is that training area? I don't know where it is for sure, but I've seen videos of people in that area playing at this private range. There's videos on YouTube. You can go out there. You can actually go out there and get training yourself. I don't know where it is exactly on the map. But then again, yeah, Donna says it's all hearsay. What I just said. Maureen says it's self-approval. I knew Maureen. I hadn't talked to Maureen, but I knew Maureen would know what I'm talking about. I don't know exactly where it is, but I know that it's there. And if any high-speed dudes was to happen to show up out there, it's a good guess that's probably where they're going. Go brush up on some skills. Go get some range time. It's not anywhere in the world where you can play high-speed games. And many of you don't even know what I'm talking about. Those of you who served in the military know what I'm talking about. Many of you haven't a clue what these kind of people do. And you can't just go down to your local gun club and train this way. Few places on earth where you can do that. And I'm not trying to say, look, Candace Owens she does what she does, and she does a good job at it. But these people were put in place, and pay attention to what people are saying, pay attention to what they're doing. You'll know a man or a woman by their fruit. Are they bringing people together, or are they causing discord and frustration? Here is Erica this weekend. Or just the other day.
You feel Charlie here right now.
I know you do too.
I feel him too. Well, God bless you.
Jesse, you're
And God bless Turning Point USA. What do you hope to achieve for Charlie and for the country?
Oh my goodness. All of his wildest dreams for this organization and more. He left me a blueprint and all of his journals, but more so than that, I was his vault for literally everything. He shared everything with me, his vision, his dreams, and I know now more than ever, I mean, he was always a hard worker, but now more than ever, he's up in heaven orchestrating and sitting and strategizing, and I can just feel it. I can feel it. And so all I want is to be able to make sure we honor Charlie, we keep fighting the good fight, and we do it in such a bold and powerful way. We're not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not.
Erica's right. Charlie was with us last night. Right before Erica hit the stage, we heard a familiar tune.
This song is so sweet because my daughter sings this every night. So to be able to hear this now, so she's watching, and so I know that she's going to be singing along to this. So I'm hoping they're taking a video of this because she sings this to my son. It's his lullaby at night with Jesus Loves Me. And so little God winks. That's how I know Charlie's here, of all songs to sing.
It's the perfect song.
Yeah.
It's the perfect night. God bless you. You're ready for this. God bless you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Hey, Jim. Maybe she is. Maybe she ain't. But you want to know something? You don't know the strength that's in her. And let me say this, by the way. If she is the one that Kim Clement talked about, and I don't know that she is, you are fulfilling the prophecy. Everybody that's hating on her is fulfilling that prophecy that Kim Clement made. Just saying. I'm just letting you know that if she's the one, we'll find out who pours out the oil of peace. But if she's the one, you are fulfilling the prophecy. How's it? You see, God doesn't need you to fulfill his prophecies. He'll do that on his own. We're not in charge of any of that, but you acting a certain kind of way fulfills the prophecies. Because before you love her, before they love her, they have to hate her. Everybody says, oh, she's not acting the way I would act. You know, everybody grieves differently. I have a friend who has a doctorate in grief counseling. He's a chaplain at a hospital, and he leads a nationwide organization counseling people in grief. He works in hospice, and he's blessed in that area by God. He's a pastor. And he'll tell you right now that some people are a ball of jello in their grief, and some people are stern and straight with no emotion in their grief. And because she doesn't act the way you act, the way you want you to act, well, guess what? When you suffer great loss, people will be criticizing you because you didn't act right. Just remember that. I'll take the wait and see. When my dad died, I got drunk. Right or wrong, that's what look, like I said, everybody deals with everything differently. Here's some more Nancy
Pelosi. And now you will see many people come up. Many are governors. You see the governors of many states. If you see the governor of Illinois, you see the governor of Michigan, you see the governor of Pennsylvania. Shall I say their names? Shapiro and Pritzker and Whitmer and Gavin Newsom and governor of Kentucky, the magnificent Andy. Well, we have so many great candidates, and some in the Congress and some in the Senate, and some maybe out of politics altogether. But there will be a lively debate.
Talking about the future of the Democrat Party. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to go all that well for her or the party. They're in trouble. They know they're in trouble. Now, here's Nancy Pelosi saying that the Republicans banged her husband.
Because that candidacy in other districts around the country would not be helpful to win the House or the Senate. I was that candidate for many years. They demonized me so much that somebody came in my house and banged my husband over the head because of the demonization that the Republicans did to me. And the
because of what the Republicans did to her. When the lover of her husband, while she was out of town, standing there, both in their underwears, drinking alcohol with a hammer. This is just a weird incident. But these people are all a bunch of weird perverts. Including Lindsey Graham.
Yeah. Fucking said 2620, right? No, 2640. Oh. Yeah, it literally said in there. Hi. How you doing?
All right.
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer on calls.
Bro, oh shit. Edward 14, Edward, send backup code 3.
Code 3 backup at 26.
Give me your fucking hand!
Unit code
Give me your fucking hand!
40 Broadway for 14 hours.
Edward 14, Edward, send medics code 3 as well.
He hit him hard with that hammer, knocked him straight out cold to the snoring point. I just noticed something. Nancy, you need to have your maid clean off your grate there. It needs a bill of dusting. Just saying. Just sorry. That's just so wrong. There's a whole bunch of weirdness going on there. Just a whole bunch of weirdness going on there. Now here is Nancy Pelosi. We have an obligation towards illegals.
Faith, hope, and charity here. And this is how I see things. When Christ came down from heaven and took part in our humanity, he enabled us to participate in his divinity. So as my former colleague John Lewis used to always say, and we all agree, there is a spark of divinity in every single person. And that spark of divinity is worthy of respect and also a challenge to us for the spark that's in us to treat people, whether they're a newcomer, an immigrant, they're a homeless person on the street, whoever they are, we have an obligation to them. And just in case you believe this, the other part of it is, because you have that spark of divinity, make room for the angels who are preceding you, because they're angels who are preceding all of us, because we have this spark of divinity. So we respect everybody in our country. So for them to be saying what they're saying about people is like, and you're people of faith? You're people of faith? You go to church on Sunday and pray in church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week? What is this? What is this?
When you're possessed by demons, you'll take scripture and you'll twist it. Because show me in the Bible, Nancy, or anybody else for that matter that wants to do it, where in the Bible does it say that we all collectively give our money to government people like Nancy Pelosi to take care of the poor and the immigrant and the orphans? Where in the Bible does it say we give our money to Caesar to support the circus and bread show? Where does it say that in the Bible? Jesus did say, give unto Caesar that which is Caesar. But at the time, he held up a coin and said, whose picture's on that coin? He said, whose picture's on that coin? You can't see this right here, but that's a buffalo round right there. Give unto Caesar that which is Caesar, with your debased currency that wasn't worth anything at the time. And give unto God that which is real. Show me in the Bible where it says, anywhere from Genesis to the end of Revelation, show me where it says that we have to give our money to government and let government. That's not what Jesus commands us to do. That's not what it commands us to do in the Old Testament. It commands you to give your money and your time to help your neighbor. Nancy. It also says in the Old Testament that on the Sabbath day, they shut the gates. And when the traders came from, foreigner traders came, they said, we ain't opening the gates. It's the Sabbath. You ain't coming in. There's a structured time for you to come in, and you can come in then. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And by the way, Nancy, you're probably going to find this out sooner than me. But there's a wall around heaven with pearls at the gate and big burly angels. The angels you're talking about, your demonic angels, they'll be dragging you, not leading you. That's a whole nother story. But there's angels at these gates, and they don't look like the cherubs with the wings. No, these are massively tall warriors with big swords and armor, with gruff faces. They guard those gates, and they have a strict entry policy. You must be of the family of Jesus Christ, or you can't get in. You must be adopted or grafted into the vine, or you can't get in. They don't just let anybody in willy-nilly because they want to come. So I don't know where you get your doctrine from. Well, I do. Karl Marx. And he got his doctrine from Satan. That's what he said. Rules from Radicals. Who was Saul Alinsky wrote that book and dedicated the book to the first radical, Satan.
That we are preeminent in the world because we have this beautiful diversity and just the exhilaration of newcomers coming. And because our door is open, we are a preeminent country in the world. And if we close the door, we will not continue to be preeminent.
Is that a threat, Nancy? Why is it we, the American taxpayer, has to pay for the entire world? Why can't they go to Russia? Why can't they go to China? Why can't they go anywhere else? Why do they got to come here? They will never see those gates. I could agree with that statement there, White as Snow. I was just metaphorically speaking, but I get your point. I could agree with that. Absolutely. Some more from Nancy Pelosi on diversity.
Their ethnicity, or if they're newcomers to our country, how could they be complaining if they say that schools want to? It's to every white person in this room, you're advantaged by every other person in this room because of the diversity that comes to. Our culture is about that. And let me just say it, because this goes to immigration, because that was the big issue. That's how they tied it on to immigration. I want you to read Google.
You know, if you're white, you're what was the word she used? I don't know. You're better off because of all the immigrants. It's because you're white. You just don't understand. The problem is, this is Cloward Piven's strategy. She knows it. She knows that she knows that where her power comes from.
Talking such politics tonight, so if they're charging that to us, I'll charge them back. The fact is, they make up these stories about how can they be complaining if we want education for all of our children, whatever their ethnicity, or if they're newcomers to our country. How could they be complaining?
Because we have to pay for it. I know you're insulated, Nancy. I know you're a gazillionaire. You probably got more money in the Cayman Islands than you do here, or Belize or someplace. We know that. But we have to pay for it. Our kids suffer because of it. We're not the whole world. And look, if you live in another country and for some reason you're watching this show and you live in one of them crap hole countries, do something about it. We did 250 years ago. We rose up and told the king, no kings. We rose up and said all men are created equal. You know the drill. Here's one more. Nancy Pelosi saying that they're going to take the House back. They're going to take it back. Absolutely. Yeah. The only way they can take it back is if they cheat, and they plan on it. But Donald Trump's already cutting off all of their cheating.
For right now, I came here departing from our campaign in California, which is No 150. The president decided he wanted to get 5 seats in Texas. And so we had to get 5 seats in California. I don't like redistricting mid-decade. We have a commission form of redistricting, but if he's going to try to go for 5, then we'll go for 5. And as they said, well, that's 2 no's don't make a right. I said, that's not 2 no's make a right. His was wrong. He punched us in the face, and we punched him back. That's self-defense of democracy. That's what that is. So in our state, everything is pretty lively right now because of that. No, that'll be over in 2 weeks, and then we'll get into showing how we're going to win the House with that first step. So I think that I hear what you're saying, and people say that. We have a great leader, Hakeem Jeffries. He will be the Speaker of the House. He will win. That's absolute. Take it. I'm not arrogant. I'm confident. We will win. He will. We only need 3 seats to win. I want 30. Somewhere between 3 and 30 is probably where we end up. But once we have that gavel and we have the ability to introduce legislation that can pass even the House, it won't pass the Senate because the filibuster rule, but nonetheless.
Yeah, there's that. Anyways, it's all good. You know, Nancy Pelosi, she just shows us who she is all the time. It's real simple. It's real easy like that. Wonderful. And of course, we know the shutdown's happening, and the White House is at it again with their memes. Here we go.
Something weird, and it don't look good. Who you gonna call?
Who are you going to call? Dim Busters. You know, things just keep getting worster and worster for them. So they got to do. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump is a global terrorist. The House for the third time, not the House, the Senate for the third time. They can't vote to get the government going again. But they voted 3 times now with Rand Paul. Tom Massey's in the House, and Susan Collins and all the rest. You know, the standard operating procedure. They voted again to stop Donald Trump's tariffs. The same people who said we have to pay for the tax cuts, so they were against the tax cuts because we got to pay for them. We got to be fiscally conservative. You haven't ever been fiscally conservative. You were just like your dad. You talk, but you don't do. And I'm tired of all of y'all. By the way, them passing that stuff in the Senate, it's got to pass in the House too, and it ain't gonna. And then the president signed it. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. These tariffs will continue. It's going to end up in the Supreme Court is where it's going to end up for real. But that's a whole nother story. Did you all see this? Hillary Clinton, according to Liz Crokin, how you say your name? Crokin. Hillary Clinton honors spirit cooking satanic witch Maria Abramovich just the other day. This is just the other day, right before Halloween. It's weird. Hillary Clinton went to Japan last week, and so did the president. That's weird, too. To support Maria Abramovich, who engages in satanic spirit cooking ritual dinners, where she was given the Premium Imparade Award, whatever that is. These 2 witches were able to get together one last time before their favorite holiday. This time of year is very important to witches. Very important. You know, I was talking to my pastor, my good pastor at the Baptist church I attend, and I was talking about this sort of stuff, about how the witchcraft and the things that they do and the spells that they put on and all this stuff. I was talking about that, and He said to me, "Oh, I don't believe in that stuff." And I just looked at him dead in the face and I said, "They do." "Oh, I don't believe in that stuff." They believe in that stuff. Your belief is irrelevant. The question is, what does it mean? I mean, well, that's not in the Bible. Yeah, it is. Saul, King Saul, went to the witch of Endor. She conjured up Samuel or some familiar spirit with Samuel. I don't know. But it did. It happened. I know it's weird, huh? But it happened. Here's another story. I don't know if you've heard this or not. So I think somebody was talking about it in the chat room there. Now be nice, Matthew. Hey, let's talk about your church, huh, Matthew? Want to talk about that? Yeah, it's an inside joke between. He's one of my friends. Top Trump officials are moving into military bases. Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, and others have taken over homes that until recently housed senior officials. Well, they're senior officials. MJ Truth Ultra says the storm is coming. Breaking. Top Trump officials are moving into military bases due to safety threats. Senator Stephen Miller, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have relocated to secure on-base housing in Washington area. Military sites like Fort McNair and Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. Why? Political violence and targeted threats against the administration figures. This makes sense. As military operations unfold, President Trump, via the Pentagon, has ordered National Guard to create quick reaction forces, QRS. We talked about that yesterday. In every state and territory by January, and military bases offer robust military protection, turning them into de facto safe havens during domestic unrest. Yeah. By the way, these little no king protesters try to get on one of these bases. That's bad. That's bad, in my opinion. It's not going to work out well. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just piece of advice. Here is Senator Johnson on the pending continuation of the shutdown. By the way, one talking point you hear in the media, and this is intentional because they know how stupid their constituents are, is they keep screaming and hollering that Mike Johnson needs to bring them back and vote. Bring them back and vote. They've already voted. There's a CR resolution on the table. They've voted for it. It'll be 15 times today. They're going to vote on it again today in the House or in the Senate. And the Democrats have said no. The Republicans in the House already passed the bill. There's nothing they could do. Hello.
Listen to this nonsense. Senator Mark Warner, the senior senator from Virginia, and this is noteworthy because Virginia is the state with the largest number of federal employees. He claims that federal workers want him to vote against reopening the government. He literally said, quote, "I think they want us to fight this." Fight what, Mark? What are you talking about? We have a clean CR. This is not a partisan dispute. It's ridiculous. Senator Tim Kaine is the junior senator from the same state of Virginia with the largest number of federal employees, and he said, quote, "I work very closely with them, and the AFGE would not want us to cut a deal." What the heck are you talking about, Senator? There's no deal here. We're not talking about a deal. We're talking about a clean CR that all of you voted for even as recently as this year. And here's my favorite one. This is the best quote. When asked about the AFGE statement from the big union, Senator Janine Shaheen said, quote, "I had a conversation with the president of AFGE earlier, right after the shutdown, and that was their position then." So let me just translate for you. Senator Shaheen spoke with the head of the largest federal employee labor union. The president of that union explained to her the harmful effects of a shutdown, and then Senator Shaheen went out and voted to close the government anyway, and continued to do that more than a dozen additional times. Senate Democrats knew the pain this would cause. They knew about the missed paychecks. They knew the uncertainty of making rent for so many people. They knew about the missed meals. They knew about delayed flights. They knew that our nuclear arsenal and our national defense would be negatively affected by this, and they did not care. They shut the government down anyway to appease the far-left voices of their base. And the Democrats have some soul-searching to do. Are they going to continue to do that? Are they going to run from the far left and do their bidding? Or are they going to do right by millions of federal workers and the American people who continue to show up to work daily without pay? Are they going to do right and reopen the government so that those people are taken care of instead of the Marxist far-left base in their party? That is the question. And we pray that Senate Democrats come to their senses before the situation becomes too dire.
Yep, but they want it to become dire. That's the plan, I believe. James Wood says posted this. In case you don't understand the grift being run by the Democrats, we are not feeding Americans until illegals are taken care of first. Yep, they're pushing this. They're pushing this. Hey, you know, I did this last night. If you didn't, go over to Facebook and watch the show on my page and my wife's page. But this is the new product that we have, and it is changing the game. And I'm making a mess already with it. It is. Remember the chocolate sauce that makes your pants fall off? Well, this is 10 times better. 10 times better. It tastes better. It acts better. It is. It is a game changer. A game changer. The most important thing is you know this in here. It's got the collagen in here. It's got the trimella mushroom in here, which acts like hyaluronic acid without the side effects. It has type 2 collagen and biotin in here. But most importantly, it has the morsel, which is trademark brand. It is a blood orange extract that has been clinically tested that 90% of the people who take that product lose weight. So a belly buster in a bottle, they call it. I call it the chocolate sauce makes your pants fall off. It's fantastic. And you should get yours today. And if you want to get yours and you're over there watching me on Facebook, just comment in the comment section. On Facebook, Slim. Comment Slim. And I will get you. I'll get you so you can get your own. I'll send you how to get your own. If you're watching on X or Rumble or YouTube, you're going to have to take an extra step. There's just no way of me being able to track who's saying what. But you can send me a text message to 660-620-2644 or an email to PatriotMikeShow@gmail.com, or you can go over to Facebook and send me a message. Let me put that up again. This stuff right here is made from the best stuff on earth. Is changing the game. By the way, there's an opportunity ground floor. We just started. We're 4 months old. We've done millions in sales. This product itself come out Saturday, and it is blowing the doors off. It's going to be our number one selling product, and it's only a week old. And there's an opportunity. They pay up to 40% when you sell one of these. It doesn't start out at 40%. You got to work your way up, but up to 40%. Just saying. Just put the math together. Do some thinking. Do some thinking. The economy is about to go through the ringer. Everybody's going to be looking around for an extra few bucks. Anyways, belly buster in a bottle. That's right. One of the things that the blood orange extract does is it focuses on that type of fat that hangs around your midsection. A spoonful a day chases the belly fat away. And it's good for you too. And there's no extra sugar or anything in it. I mean, it's really good. All right, here we go. Jim Jordan. The Arctic frost stuff is starting to break loose bigly.
The only thing we get wrong when we start these investigations is it's always worse than we thought. And this one was certainly the case because, I mean, this was so expansive, so broad. Senator Grassley is exactly right. This was a complete fishing expedition. They got Dan Scavino's bank records. Dan Scavino was the social media guy who ran all of President Trump's social media accounts, talented guy. They went after his bank records, for goodness sake. That's how ridiculous this entire thing was. And so we want Jack Smith in a deposition format when he's under oath. Will he answer our questions there? That's what we want first before we think about a public hearing.
They're going to go after. Nobody's getting arrested. They're going to go after these people. It's happening. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. Pepe Deluxe posted this. It says that breaking 90,000 non-citizens in the U.S. are losing access to SNAP welfare benefits under President Trump's new policies. Now, this isn't the shutdown. This is the big, beautiful bill. 90,000 non-citizens. Non-citizens should never get... Do you know, it used to be that if you wanted to come to this country, you had to have a sponsor. And that sponsor took financial responsibility for you. And you weren't allowed to get on food stamps and WIC and free public housing. You had to pay your way. Or you weren't allowed to come. Here's what I was talking about Lindsey Graham putting out red meat. Lindsey Graham proposes amendment to force lawmakers to forfeit pay during shutdowns. Let me tell you something. So my Jew-hating friends keep posting that they want to pass a bill in the government that will stop people with dual citizenship, especially the Jews, from running for office. And it would stop people like Ilhan Omar and all that other stuff. Here's the thing. It has to be a constitutional amendment because the Constitution determines who's eligible to run for public office in the Senate and the House. It has to be a constitutional. Let me say this again slowly so people understand. It has to be a constitutional amendment. So when Thomas Massie puts out his bill to stop the AIPAC people from becoming office, he knows he's a lying piece of crap because he knows or he's ignorant and shouldn't be in office. Those are two choices that the Constitution determines who gets to be a House member or a Senate member. Eligibility, age, location, that sort of thing. And if you want to change that, you'll have to do a constitutional amendment. Period. At least Lindsey Graham understands how the Constitution works. Because if you want to force lawmakers to forfeit their pay during shutdowns, the reason that they get their pay and they keep getting paid while everybody else doesn't, because it's constitutionally mandated. That is. They didn't change that. They can't change that because it's it has to be a constitutional amendment. It takes 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, a president's signature, and 3/5 of the states to ratify it. That's the only way. Didn't they change that to make it possible in the first place? What are you referring to? Make what possible? There's been no constitutional amendment on pay for lawmakers or on the eligibility for lawmakers, except the 17th Amendment. It changed it so that the senators are elected by popular vote instead of appointed by the state, which destroyed our freedoms and liberty. And we should repeal the 17th Amendment, which would take an amendment. They can't just go willy-nilly, we repeal it. It doesn't work that way. We have a process, and it's there on purpose. So anytime these people say this, Neil Rotten says no dual citizenships in government position. Fine. That's the way you want it. Takes a constitutional amendment, period. Without that, the Constitution lays out how you can have those positions. Did Trump free China from old treaty that tied him to rules of non-Chinese? No, I think China did that when they had their communist takeover. China is a communist country taken over by the People's Liberation Army and the Communist Chinese Party. So screw your treaties. Whatever treaty was before then, it's a new government. See, a lot of that BS people, the same thing applies. It's BS. Barbara Streisand, Bernie Sanders. It's BS. It's not the way it works. You have to follow the law. As I said many times, if you don't follow the law, our country's over. If you don't follow the Constitution, it doesn't matter. It's over. They win. We lose. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Remember, yesterday was the anniversary of the trash truck. Oops.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's the anniversary of the garbage truck. Donald Trump driving around a garbage truck. Totally. That's perfect. So that happened. You remember those days? Donald Trump says this about Joe Biden. Tweeted it out yesterday. He is a criminal and should be in jail, a major lowlife and a failure, an ugly person, both inside and out. Beat him badly and love watching him squirm now. Well, how do you really feel, Mr. President? And by the way, I talked about this yesterday. It was yesterday, the day before. When the media does these sleight of hands, those are not the droids you're looking for. When they try to say they're saying one thing when they're really saying another, it all started. That's where the Let's Go Brandon came from. Well, it just so happened that this came up again. Y'all remember this?
Thank you to all of our partners. Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch and learn. What did you learn that helped you there in those closing laps?
Oh my God, it was learning how each line didn't stay to one. And everything shifted top to bottom so much.
They're all chanting, let's go, Brandon. Yeah, because we don't have ears and we can't hear that. So when the media does this stuff, that really, and I said this back in the day when this was really big, and I'm going to say it again. That wasn't about Joe Biden. The Let's Go Brandon was not about Joe Biden. It didn't represent people. I mean, it represented F Joe Biden, but it wasn't about Biden. It was about the media. It was about the media covering up for Biden, just like they're doing right now with going around saying, oh, Joe Biden was perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with it. Donald Trump, he's having seizures. You see he's dancing the other day? That's a sure sign of a seizure and a stroke. But Joe Biden, he was the smartest, most brilliant, most bestest man that ever lived as he drooled on himself. And he, God, we're, oh yeah, oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, yep, that's right. Just a reminder, the No Kings, folks. This is a great post right here. It's why I posted what I posted on Facebook. This is perfect.
You guys were just having a No Kings protest, and now you're begging the king for money and food. Don't laugh. It's not funny.
You're right. Real journalism doesn't exist in the mainstream media. Not anymore. I think we're about to get it from CBS, though, because they fired everybody. They're cleaning the house over there. You know, it's like this. It's like this. Kamala Harris being asked about Joe Biden.
Do you think he wanted you to win the election? Are you friends with Joe Biden?
Yes,
Is the relationship good?
it's a good relationship.
Is it complicated?
Yes, it's very complicated. I have a great deal of affection for him. And there were times that I've been quite candid about where he greatly disappointed me and frankly, angered me.
Do you think he wanted you to win the election?
I do, because I was the only one who would be able to preserve his legacy.
But even that's about him.
Well, if I had to assume one of the reasons why he'd want me to win. And of course, that this all wouldn't be happening. I don't think anybody who cares about the future of the country, the democracy, or even just protecting the Constitution of the United States would have wanted this.
We're not a democracy, we're a republic, and this is exactly what we wanted. You're not worried about protecting the Constitution. You want to use the Constitution as toilet paper to wipe Joe's butt when he visits the Queen. You see how I did that, Tika? That's what you want. You don't care about the Constitution or the Republic or our history or any of that other stuff. No. That's not it. You care about your democracy, which is translation, your power. Everything you guys are putting in place, Donald Trump is systematically removing. By the time Trump's term is over, all your big funding sources, all this stuff won't happen. By this time next year, we're going to be sitting in a different country. And it's your fault. And just for a musical interlude, somebody put this together.
Liberal, happy fun, la la la, human smuggling, fentanyl deaths, forced government euthanasia, chopping up children's genitals, la 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 la.
Somebody. Oh, people are so talented. It's just yes. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Zoltron is about to win in New York, and he's going to put in his grocery stores, and it's going to sound a little bit like this.
Welcome, citizen. Here at Mamdani's Grocery, every meal is a miracle of equality. No hunger, no greed, only harmony and balance. Each portion carefully measured, each smile stated.
Mike says this time next year will be completely different. It's already changing. It'll be more. You remember last week or whenever it was over there in France, somebody robbed the precious Napoleon jewels from just robbed them, ripped them off. Well, not to be outdone.
First, it was crown jewels at the Louvre. Now a major museum theft right here in the Bay Area. The Oakland Museum of California says the thieves made off with more than 1,000 priceless objects from its collection. Native American baskets, jewelry, photographs, even ivory, all taken from the museum's off-site storage facility. But even as the FBI investigates, our Katie Nielsen explains why museum officials do not believe this was some sort of sophisticated heist.
The Oakland Museum of California really focuses their collections on objects used in everyday life by Californians throughout the state's history. The director says the more than 1,000 objects that were stolen are irreplaceable in terms of historical value, but don't really have a significant value on the black market.
We have really one of the greatest holdings of California history anywhere.
Lori Fogarty is the director of the Oakland Museum of California and says their collection includes more than 2 million items, only a handful of which can be on display at any given time.
So we, in our collection, have over 5,000 Native American baskets.
Most of the items in the museum's collection are stored in an off-site warehouse, which is where burglars broke in sometime late into the night on Wednesday, October 15th, or early in the morning, Thursday, October 16th.
It is heartbreaking for people who really dedicate their careers to preserving and stewarding and caring for and presenting objects of cultural and artistic importance.
Some of the items stolen include an old photograph, some jewelry, a woven Native American basket, and scrimshaws, which are ivory carvings, leading Fogarty to believe this was probably a crime of opportunity.
I think it is very possible that the people who stole these items don't really know themselves what they have.
Stealing from a museum is actually a federal offense, so the FBI's art crime team has gotten involved in the case. We spoke with former FBI Special Agent Jeff Harp about this specialized task force.
It's a small cadre of agents across the nation, probably less than 20. They have a lot of expertise in how these art deals are done, where a lot of times these, irreplaceable art pieces end up and sold. A lot of it's done underground, but these guys have a pretty good network of informants and information that allows them to track a lot of this stuff.
In 2012 and 2013, a man broke into the museum itself, stealing items from the Gold Rush exhibit both times. But police were able to catch the suspect when a pawn shop owner in Chinatown recognized a stolen jewelry box and called police. Fogarty hopes by releasing some photos of the items stolen 2 weeks ago, eagle-eyed members of the public might be able to help the museum recover them.
If people are at swap meets or they're at auctions or they're in a pawn shop or an antique store and something looks like, please let us know.
A basket. Okay. As for the Louvre heist, investigators in Paris are still trying to locate the stolen jewels. They've arrested 2 people who have admitted to a partial role in the brazen daytime heist. The Paris prosecutor says DNA evidence proves they were the ones who actually broke into the museum. Those suspects have been charged with theft and criminal conspiracy.
So they broke in there and they stole a So if you see a at the next auction or pawn shop, then you'll know that it came from the Oakland Museum. It just, I don't know. We're living in a world that I just don't understand. Now here is what's this guy's name? He's on PBD all the time. What's his name? Anyways, his take on Zoltron. I love what he calls him too.
Maybe it's just me, but does anyone else think that if there was ever a chance for a Republican mayor of New York City, having them go up against Zagbad Salami would be that chance? Like, I really don't understand this push on the right to tell people to vote for Cuomo. Like, I don't get that. It's like Cuomo polled considerably less than Zagbad Salami. So, and you're not going to convince all the Republicans to vote for Cuomo. A lot of people don't pay attention to all of this stuff and would never vote for a Democrat no matter what. Especially when you have just like the classic sleazeball like Cuomo. So if there was ever a chance to actually rally around the Republican candidate in New York City, wouldn't this and Curtis Sliwa be that one chance? Like, I don't even really feel like Cuomo is in the race at all. It's just like the left is overwhelmingly behind Zagbad Salami, who shovels basmati rice slop in his mouth on camera with his phalanges. But Curtis Sliwa is a New Yorker through and through, has name recognition, is a Republican, and comes in a time where crime is crazy, and he's the against crime candidate. I mean, it seems fairly obvious to me. If you were against crime in the city and mismanagement of money, and you wanted just a classic New Yorker, and you were on the left, It's like, if anything pushed you away from voting for the Democrat, as they seemingly always do, it would be that he's a 30-something socialist with no experience at all. And I don't even mean political experience. I mean life experience. The guy's never had a real job in his life. And it's not like Curtis Sliwa is like some out of left field candidate or something. The guy has been trying and has run for mayor multiple times. It's like, people know who he is. If they were casting a ballot, they would understand what they were choosing, even if they sat on the left. Now, I know it's a tall order for a leftist to vote for somebody on the right, but it's just like, okay, crime, socialist, if anything would compel them to go that way, it just seems like that would be the magical combination of things. And early selection has already started, so we're going to know on November 4th what the result of this is. But you know what else is kind of interesting? Curtis Sliwa ran in 2021 against Eric Adams and got 312,000 votes, which was over 27%. Isn't it reasonable to think that Zogbad Salami and Cuomo would probably split the leftist vote, and Curtis Sliwa could actually win specifically for that reason, especially if people on the right and or Republicans or whatever were to rally around Curtis Sliwa as opposed to Cuomo? Because it seems highly likely that Cuomo would get more votes than Zogbad would. But if they were both to be split because people that aligned with the left were like, I don't want this socialist, but I'm going to vote Democrat, that would be the one opportunity for the right to actually rally. Cuomo would be the split that would make the person on the right win. He is the reason that Sliwa could win. I don't know, seems kind of obvious to me. I don't know.
Maybe, but I think Zoltron's going to win, and Zoltron is going to win because it's a judgment. Because the leftists and the Marxists and the communists in New York City and the big money people in New York City that are funding all of this, God's going to give them exactly what they want. That's what I think. Here's Mike Johnson again on the shutdown. No, wait. This shutdown.
Now, they'll have another opportunity today. The Democrats in the Senate will have their 15th opportunity to do the right thing. We're concerned that they won't. And if they reject this for the 15th time, they will be ensuring that this shutdown continues past the November 1st deadline. And that is a fateful deadline for a number of reasons. Starting on Saturday, let me give you a list of things that this means for the American people. It means that tens of millions of American families will struggle to keep food on the table because the SNAP program benefits will run dry. It means that WIC assistance, that's women, infants, and children, the nutrition programs, will be at risk of running dry. It means that Head Start centers, which serve 60,000 children nationwide, will be at risk of closure. Millions of federal workers, and we've listed them here every day. You're talking about air traffic controllers and TSA agents and park rangers and Border Patrol agents, law enforcement around the country. The stewards of our nuclear arsenal will miss their paychecks. Thousands of flights, by result, will be canceled or delayed, while our borders and national security will be directly jeopardized at a very dangerous moment in world history. And our country will lose tens of billions in gross domestic product. With each passing day, the pain gets more real, and the Democrats are guaranteeing when they vote to reject our clean funding resolution. We expect they will do that again today for the 15th time. They are showing no shame whatsoever.
Yep, just vote for it. Just vote for it. I think all I need is 4 more Democrats to defect, and then it'll be over. And they'll open everything back up. 4 more Democrats to vote for it, and it will open everything back up. We'll see what happens. I'm skimming through here trying to cut here is just the news with Comer on all this Arctic frost stuff that they've uncovered.
Yes, and I think that the DOJ needs to take this and run. John, we've handed this to Pam Bondi on a silver platter.
Yep,
We've done all the heavy lifting. We've done the depositions. We've combed through the emails. I mean, this is the hard, tedious work of an investigation. Now it's up to her to bring these people in. If there's anything in the report that's inaccurate, if there's anything in the deposition that we reported that are mischaracterized, now here's your opportunity to try to defend the other position. If not, then the report is 100% accurate and the pardons need to be declared null and void immediately. I would go further, but now this is me, and I would hold some of these people accountable for misrepresenting the president's health and for abusing their power as a bureaucrat in the White House that was essentially forging the president's name on pardons. I mean, you could ask a lot of questions. I know some of the people that were pardoned from Kentucky, these are wealthy Democrat donors. We heard from Jeff Zients that Hunter Biden was in the room where the decision making was taking place on the pardons. Look, I don't think we need to say any more on this show about Hunter Biden being in the room with pardons when people have the potential to maybe be paying for pardons. We didn't go that route. We just tried to investigate the auto pen and the president's health and mental fitness. But I think the Department of Justice could go a lot further. I mean, to have Hunter Biden in the room talking about any pardons, I mean, that's pretty bad in itself. But a guy that we proved, John, and you all have reported on many times, was taking money from our adversaries around the world, peddling access for his father's position as vice president of the United States. Having him in the room when you're issuing thousands of pardons with the auto pen, I mean, that's suspicious in itself.
So we're going to have a constitutional crisis when it comes to all this. We're going to have a constitutional crisis when it comes to the auto pin and the pardons, because that's going to come into play. But what really, this Arctic frost stuff, they talk about weaponizing the government. By the way, that deport farmers, guys, I mean, your name, you are an ignorant fool just by your name. Deport farmers. What are you going to eat? Expect the Chinese to supply it? What are you going to eat? Number one. Number two, insulting the military. You have no clue. I bet you have an education too, aren't you? You're really educated. But you can't answer me because you went bye-bye. You insulted one of the moderators on my platform personally. I mean, he's got the power. So, bye, Felicia, you little piece of crap. Endless rank of human debris right there. You want to know what the scum on the bottom of your boot looks like? Now you know. And that's just my personal opinion, and I'm entitled to it. Here is what's been going on with this Arctic frost stuff. What the Biden administration, the guy who we just kicked off, loved the Biden administration. Loved it. Joined in the reaching around the aisle.
Arctic frost is Joe Biden's Watergate. Merrick Garland was a fundamentally corrupt attorney general. Jack Smith was a fundamentally corrupt prosecutor. This was a political enemies list from the beginning. 197 subpoenas for 430 Republican entities and individuals. That is an absolute and egregious abuse of power. The Biden Justice Department signed off on issuing subpoenas for the phone records of at least 9 U.S. senators. 20% of the Republicans in the United States Senate were the target of this fishing expedition. They did so in complete contravention of the Constitution, of separation of powers, of the speech and debate clause, of free speech, of basic rights of privacy. This is an executive who believes it is justified spying on their opponents in the legislature because they convince themselves the ends justify the means. I want to talk to you about one of those subpoenas. One of those subpoenas went from Jack Smith to AT&T, seeking my cell phone communications. It went to AT&T, and I actually want to commend AT&T for doing the right thing. AT&T is based in Texas. AT&T looked at that subpoena, and they went to their legal counsel. And they said, what should we do with that subpoena? And their legal counsel said, you cannot comply because this is protected by the speech and debate clause of the U.S. Constitution. And so AT&T declined to comply, did not hand over my cell phone records. Now, one might ask, ordinarily, a phone company being asked to hand over the phone records of a sitting senator would notify that senator. Well, there was a reason AT&T did not do so. Accompanying the subpoena was an order, which I have in my hand right here, an order that was signed by Judge James E. Boasberg. Now, who is Boasberg? Boasberg is that radical leftist judge who is out of control, who has been issuing nationwide injunctions, one after the other, trying to stop President Trump from carrying out his mandate from the voters. Judge Boasberg issued an order to AT&T and signed that order, prohibiting AT&T from informing me of this subpoena for at least 1 year. And Judge Boasberg gave the basis for that order, and I'm going to quote from the order Judge Boasberg signed. The court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in destruction of or tampering with evidence, intimidation of potential witnesses, and serious jeopardy to the investigation. That's an order a judge signed. Now, I can tell you right now, there is precisely zero evidence to conclude that I am likely to destroy or tamper with evidence or to intimidate potential witnesses. Zero evidentiary basis for that. This order is an abuse of power. This order is a weaponized legal system. My assumption, we don't have the subpoenas that were issued for the other senators, but my assumption is Judge Boasberg printed these things out like the placemats at Denny's, one after the other.
I think he's a little upset. Some of you are going, yeah, he's old talk too. He is old talk. I've talked about him before being old talk. But in this particular case, he was targeted by the previous administration as a sitting senator. Here is Senator Ron Johnson about the same thing. We're going to go a little bit longer today.
What is revealed in those 1,700 pages of documents, in those 197 subpoenas, is nothing short of a Biden administration enemies list. You know, I'm old enough to understand how toxic a term that was under Richard Nixon. This is far worse, orders of magnitude worse. People need to understand how politicized the Biden administration turned all these agencies. And again, the best way to describe President Biden's attitude were his exact quotes. How he thought basically half America were domestic terrorists. In September 2022, in front of Independence Hall, he said, Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundation of our republic. A year later in New York City, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Now, nothing could be further from the truth. That is a level of paranoia that's actually astonishing. But the fact that 38 Wisconsinites are on that enemies list, I know most of those individuals. They are God-fearing, country-loving, law enforcement supporting people who want to see America succeed. The fact that they are on a Biden administration enemies list, were targeted by that administration, is outrageous. It should shock every American. And so I am calling on, and I appreciate all the members of the Judiciary Committee, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to do everything we can to assist Director Patel and AG Bondi in making sure that they have the staff to take control of these agencies. They're the heads of them. I don't think they have the control. I think they're being sabotaged within. But the American people need to understand exactly what happened. And again, I'm calling on members of the Judiciary Committee to help Senator Grassley and myself get to the bottom of this so we can expose this, so this doesn't happen again in America. This has to end. With that, I'll turn it over to Senator Corn.
So they're going after these politicians on the right. And here's Senator Grassley's take on it. They've turned all this over to Pam Bundy. We'll see what comes of it.
Before I get to what we're releasing today, I started the investigation into Arctic frost July 2022 based on whistleblower disclosures. Based on these disclosures, we know that weaponized taxpayer-funded agents and prosecutors advanced the investigation. As Arctic frost advanced, 92 Republican organizations or individuals were targeted, not just Trump. And they were added to its scope. And author of that targeting list was Special Agent Walter Giardino. He's the same weaponized agent who was involved in other cases against Republicans, including Peter Navarro. We've learned Jack Smith secretly obtained phone record data from at least 8 senators and 1 congressman. I've recently been informed by Verizon that at least 11 members with Verizon accounts were affected. That includes a hard line for Senator Cruz's office and a staffer's cell phone for former Senator Loeffler. AT&T informed me they challenged the legal basis for Jack Smith's efforts, and Smith backed down. So today, we're making public new records that I've obtained through legally protected whistleblower disclosures. 197 subpoenas were issued by Jack Smith and his team. These subpoenas were issued to 34 individuals and 163 businesses, including financial institutions. And one of the points of contact on many of these subpoenas was that person I previously named, Special Agent Walter Giardino. The subpoena requested records and communications related to over 430 individual and organizations. All of them appear to be aimed at Republicans. A subpoena to Event Strategies requested records relating to Turning Point USA and the Republican Attorney General's Association. One subpoena to Apple sought records relating to Trump and the January 6th prison choir.
You can't go after your political enemies, but you can go after people who commit crimes. And just doing a blanket search, trying to find something, you can't do that. That'll get thrown out of court. You can't do that. That's the way it's supposed to be. And that's what they're doing here. Well, anyways, folks, I appreciate you all joining me. That's the end of the week. You know what that means, right? That means that it's Friday, and that this weekend you should take the day off, take the weekend off, turn it off, turn the TV off, disconnect, go do some stuff, go rake some leaves, run around in the grass, whatever it is you do. You're going to hand out candy to the crumb crunchers tonight. You can do that too. Me, myself, I'm going to have everything turned off. It's going to be completely dark. Don't come by my house. Not interested. I'm such a Scrooge. But I don't participate in this holiday. I don't participate in many holidays. I'm tired of them. That's just me. My wife says we're putting up a Christmas tree this year. And I said, you're putting up a Christmas tree this year. Some of that is more my orneriness than it is tired of the spirituality or lack thereof. But anyways, enjoy your weekend. Come back Monday. We'll talk about it. And I got you covered. You guys have a great day. Patriot Mike is out.